We are here with Mr. Ravikiran Vaidya. He has established Geodynamics, uh, one of India's leading testing agencies in the world. Uh, he's joint principal engineer and director. He has been instrumental in popularizing concept of deep foundation testing in India. He has worked in more than 20 countries all around the world. He's an EC member of IGS, DFI and BIS subcommittee. He is recipient of the prestigious Dinesh Mohan Award and also has been awarded IGC's FCON's Best Paper Award for in the Case Histories category in 2022. He has been awarded master's degree from MS University of Vadodara in 1994 and is an avid sports person and have run 9 half marathons till date. And he is also a national level TT player in senior category. So, Mr. Vaidya, why did you decide to start your own business?
Well, the basic objective of starting a business was I could see that if I can make a change the way people are doing, and if I can contribute to that change and change the existing practices, the way people work, and if I can contribute to the infrastructure development of the country by being within the country rather than being outside it, then that will be something which will be a great contribution. And that was the fundamental reason why I switched over from my job abroad to a business back in India.
Okay. Tell me something about your business.
So, you see, when you do bridges, flyovers, jetties, or metro rails, or high rise towers, you need to transfer loads to the soil below. And a lot of times, the soil is not as good as a rock or something, and that means you need to transfer the load to much deeper layers, which is what makes you introduce to pile foundations. And the subject of testing and design and construction of pile foundations is a subject by itself. So that's what we do, is we do testing for pile foundations, and that includes all kind of piles worldwide, from driven piles to board piles, steel piles, concrete piles, spun piles, CFA piles. So that's a huge subject, and we are leaders in all those areas of foundation testing. That's what we mentioned. So a lot of concepts today what you see in the industry is what we introduced periodically over the last 2 decades.
How do you set your business apart from others in your industry?
Well, typically geodynamics is an early mover into areas that they operate. So one of our jobs is not only to do testing, but to identify niche areas and potential areas which are going to be the future. So let me call you in 2 minutes. So it's not only about doing testing, but it is about identifying newer areas of business, newer applications, do a lot of R&D, and then become the best of whatever is in India or worldwide, and then launch that as a product. So that's how we are entirely different from others, as we are pioneers in whatever we do.
Where do you see your business heading in next 5 years?
The infrastructure industry in India is booming, and as you can see, there is a lot of focus on highways, metro rails, railways, bullet trains, roads, canals, so the dam safety. So there is going to be a huge opportunity in practically every sector. And what we see is there is going to be investment in water resources, conservation of energies, and cloud computing and cloud related applications. So what we look forward to is entering new areas of business, again create niche in whatever areas that we operate, and see ourselves as more branched out into various verticals rather than a focused vertical of foundation testing. That is what is our predominant identity. So in the next 5 years, we do see Geodynamics spreading its wings into other areas of operations of consulting, testing, and applications in various sectors of civil engineering.
Okay, for any businessman in any industry, they have some insecurities regarding businesses or fear or doubt. How do you deal with those uh, for your business insecurities or in certain
Yes,
aspects?
so business is something like sports.
No.
Unless you learn to lose, you don't learn to win. So that means you are running every day, right? So if you start worrying about insecurities, probably you'll not be able to take decisions. So what you do is you take decisions and then see that those decisions turn out right by making every effort to ensure that generally you are on the right side of those decisions. Yes, there will be fear, there will be insecurity, but that's what is the fundamental charm of doing business is nothing is defined and you just prepare yourself for that uncertainty and address it the best possible way. And if you could do that successfully in most of the cases, then you survive. Then you survive for a few decades.
Exactly. And if you ever get a chance to go back into time and review your mistakes in your journey till right now, what would it be?
Well, it's always a question on how fast you are in reacting to situations or how fast were you in changing your business model, which is what becomes a requirement. And you could argue that I could argue that I was a leader in my area of business, but there were potentially a number of businesses which we could have done. We could have gone back and done those. Probably we could have been a part of the IT revolution. Being civil engineers, there's a lot of IT related applications in civil engineering. So those are areas which we could have developed in parallel in addition to our core business. And that's something we could always look back and say, I still missed out something.
And next question would be, how have you grown personally as an entrepreneur?
From an engineer working in a small company, if you are recognized as an individual in India and abroad and recognized as an expert, and as a company we would have done probably most major milestone jobs of the country, and we would name that as Atal Setu or the bridges leading to Statue of Unity or something beneath the statue, or the Bandra Worli Sea Link, Delhi Metro, or the metro rails in Cochin, Delhi, Chennai, Jaipur, and some of the other landmark projects, then probably you have done a fair amount of work and have grown personally and professionally. And the nominations in the various bodies would to some extent explain that.
Also, a person like you who is running such a successful business, success is a very wider and a complex concept in today's world. So, what is your definition for success?
What is my definition for success? So, well, is success only a monetary success? Is success only achieving a medal? Then probably we are a little bit misplaced. So because if you are only talking of monetary terms for whatever you earn or whatever you achieve, there are always going to be five people ahead of you and five people behind you. So when you talk of success, success is when everybody around you, your team, your employees, your family, if you can make everybody happy and yet you can maintain leadership in whatever you do, ensuring that you are not compromised on your basic honesty and ethics, and you are able to change the way the industry operates and able to introduce new concepts every few years, then to some extent that can be termed as a successful venture.
Okay. What will you never compromise with your business?
So what we replied before is ethics.
Yes.
So we put a lot of emphasis on what we do ethically. And as a testing company, we are a third party testing company a lot of times. So as a consulting company, we do provide solutions which may not necessarily make everybody happy all the time. But one thing we don't want to compromise is our ethics. and we could probably lose jobs, we could gain jobs, but we would never compromise on our core ethics, and that has been the fundamental of our business for the last more than 2 decades.
In today's India, most of the students have been flooding more branches like data science, AI, IT, and civil, though it is considered one of the evergreen branches all over the world, has not been into so much interest by students. So, what would you have an advice for future of civil engineers?
Well, every branch would have its pluses and minuses. So, what we call is the herd mentality. So, if you know what's herd mentality, then you have one leader, and then all the
Others
animals
are following.
follow the pack. But the same things what you mentioned, data sciences or artificial intelligence, or all those things are very much applicable in every area of engineering. If you talk of automobiles, a lot of AI flows into automobiles. If you talk of data analytics, a lot of data analytics flows into retails, into wholesales, into automobiles, into every sector. So there is no reason why the same thing is not going to be applicable in civil engineering. It is just that somebody has to notice that, be an early mover, grab that opportunity and move ahead. So every branch offers still the same opportunity, just the way you look at it.
Now, next question is a bit related to this. AI has been looming over other industries, has been finding new roles in those industries. What would you have a vision for AI to do in civil engineering?
Well, the civil engineering is a very vast field, uh, and AI can do a lot of things. For example, if you are looking at making a basic building, now today you're struggling to go to an architect who would probably give you some drawings and designs, and then you are left with no choice on how my house or my office would look like. Now, if you have AI, you could probably create those blocks yourself and have a feel of how my interiors or how my office or my house or apartment or bungalow would look like in quick time. And you could just put those slides and go back and say this is what I want, rather than depending on somebody to give you ideas. So that's about engineering. If you're talking of uh, designs, you could probably create a database, and now your database works like a neural network. So it's a kind of AI. So if you have a huge database and then you feed in the problem, and one way is to solve it analytically, and the other way is to find the best possible match and quickly come up with a possible initial alternative solution. So you could probably use AI to get alternative solutions in quick time. You could use AI something like a medical profession, where if you're doing testing, if you're doing laboratory testing, you put in the symptoms, you put in the sample size, you put in what are the requirements, and whatever is interpretative now becomes a part of AI. So AI would find application in probably every sector of engineering, of civil engineering. The way you could look at it, AI could be used in concrete mix design, AI could be used in geotechnical applications. For example, you have a database of soil bore logs, and then you could use AI to kind of generate a predictive response. So that could be a first output before you really go on the field and have some real data. So there's a lot of applications of AI in engineering. It just depends on how somebody takes it over and presents it.
Okay. What would your advice be to a young entrepreneur who has just started his business for his challenges to come ahead?
If you are a young entrepreneur, well, being an entrepreneur is a lot of hard work, and it's not a bed of roses. So it's a lot of thorns and some roses. So first is be prepared to slog around, be prepared to work practically 24/7, and be available when people need you, when your team needs you, when your customers need you, and be prepared to for uncertainties, challenges, enjoy your day when you get those good days, and be prepared for the rainy days as well.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Learned a lot
Thank you
with
for
you.
your time, and thank you for your interview. All the best.